You're all welcome to our Cosenge Limited Data Analysis Tester section. All right, so I'll be your host for this section. So let's just get to talk about Cosenge for a while, all right? So I don't know if you've looked at our websites over the course of before this program, over the course of the week. All right, so Cosenge is a multinational company, all right, based in the UK, and it's basically an IT service company, all right, and we offer services, okay. And a part of the services we offer is the data training services, business analysis, analytic training services, project management, website design and development. All right. Cosenge is also into property, real estate, both in the UK and they're also into media and creative services, photography, event coverage, and etc. So if you have any special events anywhere in the world, but mostly I think within the UK, we're there to help you. And if you want us to help you develop your business, website design, management, and consultational services, we are here to serve you. All right. So Cosenge is your go-to place for all your IT solution and etc. All right. So you can find us on our websites and you can get us on all social media platforms. All right. So with that said, let's get a brief introduction from one of our founders, Dr. Uche. Can you introduce yourself?
Thank you very much. Cosenge was established with a simple but powerful mission to equip people with practical and industry relevant skills, that can open the real doors to opportunities. So that's just what we're doing. I want to help people to achieve their potentials, right? We believe that knowledge should not just be theoretical, right? So it should be useful, applicable. I mean, our way of training people is not just the way they do it in schools where they do a lot of modules and fill your hands with assignments, and at the end of the day, you lack practical skills. Here in Cosenge, we equip you with industry skills that you need to excel in your career, all right? So skills that will be applicable. Well, our digital training skills is just what I want to face today because that's what we're doing and we don't have a lot of time to talk. So it's really important because IT is no longer optional. Globally, IT is highly sought after. They are essential part of today's labor market. When you have the skills, employers will be looking for you. So throughout the program, like the one we are doing today, you will get some skills that will help you to land great jobs. All right. If you're already in job, you can easily get career promotions. I mean, we've had uncountable number of people that have landed their dream jobs. And then you can also go into a new area, IT. It could be your area or specialties, arts or anything, science or whatever, economics. Knowing what we are going to teach today will help you to diversify and have more career prospects. That is just what we're doing today. So your transformation starts today. Today is another opportunity for you to begin on a new and a great journey. All right. Cosenge is proud company that is doing really well here in the UK. We are CPD certified, which means that the certificate you will get after this training can be used to get job in any part of the world. After our training, we don't issue the certificate. Is the UK government CP certified component of the government that issues it to you. So it's not like after you just get one certificate from us, you get fully UK certificate to show that you are computer trained on the IT area. All right. So we are fully accredited. You can check it online, which means your training meets recognized professional standard and contribute meaningfully to your continuing professional development. All right. So what you are learning today is not just useful, it is credible and valued. So I encourage you to engage fully. Ask questions, any question you have. Even when we finish, you can stay back to ask your questions. We'll be here to listen to you. So I want to encourage you to make the most use of this opportunity. Today's training could be the stepping stone through your next breakthrough. All right. Thank you very much for being here. My name is Dr. Uchenna Egu. Thank you and God bless you.
Our next in line will be our their coordinator, Madam Beatrice. I don't know, can you introduce yourself?
I am CEO for Cosench Limited, and I welcome you all. Just like everyone have said, Cosench is a multinational company, and we deal in multi-diverse services, or we offer multi-diverse services to individuals, businesses, institutions globally. So we've affected a lot of lives. 6 years along the line, Cosench has thrived, and we've made a lot of impact globally. So we have students all over the world, including Nigeria, United Kingdom, Rwanda, and Canada, USA. So if you have anyone that's interested in any of our training, please do recommend Cosench. And also after the free training and you want to enroll in the full paid training, you are also free to do so. We have a lot of contacts in here that can, channel you to the right contact for the next steps. Just a bit summary about myself. I've been a data analyst for over 6 years now, with a lot of industry experiences and also training experiences. And I have a master's degree proper in data analytics. And also, I'm also the founder and the CEO of Joybringers Limited UK. So it's a charity organization based in the United Kingdom that offers free services to our young people. And positively, we've impacted many lives through our Joybringers charity organization in the UK and worldwide. I'm an expert in training people that wants to venture into data analytics. If you have any question or you need mentorship around data, you can contact me for more details. If you scan the QR code on this screen, that should take you to my personal website that can tell you a bit more about myself, and the contact details to reach me is also there. I also specializes in website design. In a nutshell, anything that has to do with app development, software designs. I'm also your go-to. So Cosench also offers mock interview preparations and CV enhancement. So if you need any of those areas or support in any of these areas, you can also reach out to myself. So welcome today. I hope you enjoyed the training. And if you need any additional support, please reach out to myself or any of my colleagues here. So thank you, enjoy the training, and welcome once again.
Let's get into today's lecture. And thanks for all the introduction and for all those who introduced yourself. You are highly welcome, and thank you so much. All right. So for starters, let's get to know what data analysis is all about, or what's when you hear data analysis, what it's all about, so that it doesn't sound strange. All right. So data analysis simply means looking at data to find useful information and make smart decisions. All right. Simply saying, it's just like looking at information that I'll be giving to you in a spreadsheet. It can be Excel spreadsheet, or just looking at information and making useful meaning out of it. Data can come in so many forms, not just in Excel spreadsheets. So we have different form of data that we can, you can make use of. All right. So, but I'm being specific to the Excel spreadsheet for a reason. So we get to that later. So trying to get useful information from that data is part of what data analysis is all about. You are analyzing the information in the data. All right. So, for example, as you can see, it's like a using list of sales information to check which product sold the most. All right. And this is something we can see even on our own day-to-day activities, where we go to the market to buy goods and etc. And where we want to restock goods in our house, or maybe get some supplies for maybe schools, for those of us that are teachers, or even those of us that are lawyers, when you're talking to your clients and making preparation of how you are going to defend your clients, you need to go through the information those clients give you and try to make sense of it to know how you're going to go about it. So you're already analyzing those informations, and those informations are the data that we collect. Those information are the data that will make use of. All right. So even on your day-to-day activity, you've seen that you're already interacting with data and you're already making useful information with it. All right. So example 2, like collecting feedback responses from customers and using those results to make what make this decision. So for example, when you run a service and you feel that okay, this service that you are offering, you might think you are doing so well, or you might think you are giving everybody the best, but um, everybody, being different individual, might respond differently to that your service. So as a data analyst, your job is to be able to get those different responses from those different individuals, understand how to tailor that service so that at least you are going to get 90% positive response. Remember, like I said, we are all different people and we tend to react differently to different situations. So the way maybe I will react when someone give me a bottle of cold water, somebody else might be like, oh, I love to take cold water. And somebody else will be like, oh, no, no, this water is too cold. I want it mild and etc. So you see, that response is what helps you to make better decisions. So you can decide to run this store whereby you can have a system whereby you have some water cold and if possible, some water even warm, because you realize that some people tend to want to take warm water if maybe the weather around them is very cold. They might not tend to take cold water. So you need to understand that and know how to, get the best, to give your customers the best. And at the end of the day, regardless of the preferences of each customer, you are going to get positive response because you try to satisfy at least 80% of their need. You might not be able to satisfy everyone, let me say that in quotes, but at least you're able to meet their basic needs, and if possible, you can go further. All right. So let's see what a typical data analysis data lifecycle is. Sorry. So you can see the structure over here. We have what we call the data archive, or let me start with data collecting process for that. All right, because you have to collect the data. First of all, you have to get the information. You have to know what those customers want, or what those individuals want, or how they want it. All right. Then you have what we call the data cleaning and process, where you have to now make the data proper, make that data to look, in a way that it will make sense when you are analyzing it. If the data is not properly structured, you get it to get the structure right, get it to look, better, get it to look nice or appealing to the eyes. So when you look at it, you might be able to make sense. All right. If the data is not properly aligned, you might not be able to make sense of it. Then we have the data storage processes, because those information you collect, you are not just going to keep them anywhere. You're not going to leave them. Excuse me, please. If you are not talking, can you put yourself on mute, please? Thank you very much. Hello, please. All right, sorry about that. Please, if you are not asking any question, or if you need to ask any question, you can raise your hand, or please just try to put yourself on mute. Thank you very much. All right, so you need to get the data to be stored in what we call the database. All right, so you need to understand how to structure that data and store that data in the database, because you can't leave this data out anywhere, because those information are vital, and if you leave it anywhere, anybody can have access to it, and that would be nice. So you need to have a storage where you can now keep it and in a way protect it. All right, because it's a vital information regardless of what format it is. All right. Then you have the analysis process, whereby you can now analyze that information, go through it to get insights and say, okay, this is what this data says. It shows that so far the company is doing well, the company is not doing well, and you can now decide to improve on your service, or maybe make adjustments, or if you feel that there is staff that have been doing so well, you can now reward the staff. Or if you have a staff that is not performing, you can now find out why and try to see if the person can do better, and etc. If the person has a health condition, you now know if you are going to what to do about that, and etc. All right. Then you have the data visualization area, whereby you have to make a report or visualize the data whereby someone that doesn't understand the information in the database, or when someone sees the spreadsheet, it might just see some numbers, it doesn't make sense. You now create a visual and make those numbers on that spreadsheet to make sense. The person can now see the figures and say, oh, now I understand. I saw 200 here, but now I know why it is 200. I can see that this 200 shows that these people have not been making enough sale, or this 200 shows that these people have been making enough sale, and etc. All right. They can have the decision-making processes whereby you now decide what to do with that information. All right. Because the information you have is because you have a purpose, you want to develop something, you want to improve. So you have to make a decision on that. So part of the job is being able to give suggestions. Remember, as an analyst, you're analyzing for a company. When you are making that decision, you're not telling the company, this is what you are going to do. You are going to make a suggestion based on your finding, then the company will now decide if your suggestion is acceptable or they have a better way to do it. All right. Remember, we all have different opinions. So you give suggestions. You don't tell them that, no, you must do it this way. No, it doesn't work that way. So you can tell them, so far from what I've seen, if we can try this, this might help. And if the company feels that is okay, or they have a better way, they can say, well, we can do this, but we can try it differently. Maybe we want to reach out to more people and etc. So that will be left to the board of directors. You just need to give them suggestions based on your finding and etc. And then the archive, depending on how old the data is or how new the data is, and basically it's all about data security, data storage, and the data management, keeping those files safe. And any file that you think is no more necessary, that is too old or doesn't have any value or will not change the course of future growth of that company, you can decide to delete them or you can decide to keep them. All right. So let's go to the data types that we have. All right. Basically, we have two data types. We have the quantitative and the qualitative data type. Okay. So the quantitative data types is just talking about numeric data, e.g., we have sales figures, customer counts, and that can be visualized with bar, graphs, and line charts. All right. So what are we talking about? Numeric data, we all know what numeric is. We are talking more of numbers. So let's say sales figures in terms of how much you've sold, or how many customers came to the store today to pick up a product, or how many products that were sold. All right. So you have those numbers 1 to 10, 1 to 100, or 1 to 1 million. So those are quantitative type of data. All right. So for qualitative data, these are more of a descriptive data. For example, when customer gives a review about a particular product, remember that information is data, all right, but it's not in numbers. But you still have to make sense of it. You still have to use that information to make a decision, all right? So the customer can decide to say that, oh, we might have different bottled water you sell, and this customer might prefer a particular brand for some personal reasons. Maybe for that particular customer, that water might, feels better when they drink it, you understand, or they feel refreshed, or they feel more, that particular water might quench their taste more than the other water products you have. And they will feel like, oh, this water is good, this water is nice, and all that. They are all water. We have different kinds of bottled water, all right? But some customers prefer a particular brand for personal reasons, based on preferences. So when they give you review for those preferences, you have to make sense of it. But don't forget that those reviews are not in numbers. They might just describe how they feel. Like I says, oh, this water satisfies my taste, this water is good, and etc. Please excuse me, please. Can you put yourself on mute so if you don't have any question, please? All right, thank you. All right, so that is for the qualitative type of data. All right. All right, so we have different strategies for data collection. All right. So part of the strategies we have is survey and questionnaires. Remember when you are giving survey, for those of us that do projects, most of us will be familiar with this. all right? And sometimes you might get some pop-up questions that will ask you, while doing a survey or have a questionnaire, answer this, answer that. All those are part of data collecting processes, all right? So most people, when you fill those forms or those questionnaires, they collect that information, they go back and analyze it and visualize it. So your job as a data analyst is to know how to gather this information. And part of what makes a good survey is when you ask the right question. You cannot be making a survey about a particular product, let me say, for example, the bottled water, and you'll be asking questions about the beverage. You know, the water and beverage they are not even close, all right? So when you're asking questions about beverage or how the person feel about beverages, then definitely the answer you're going to get is not going to make sense because the question was supposed to be about bottled water, or the survey is about bottled waters, all right? So it's always good to understand that part of your job as a good analyst is to know how to ask the right questions about the particular product for you to get the right response. All right, and we have different form of surveys that we know, like the Google form and etc. and etc. All right. Now we have interview, which is more of a direct data collecting method, whereby you have to maybe talk to the person one-on-one, for example, and say, okay, I noticed you have a particular preference. Can you tell me about it? And you want to take notes based on the person's response and all that. And you go to the next one and you have a direct response. This time around, it's not like an assumption or anything. All right. And we have the observation as well. We can also observe a particular trend. You might maybe want to check how many people come into a particular store, and you can decide to maybe even put up a camera at the door and be taking notes of all those who come into the store, or maybe observe what particular product people buy the most so they come into the store. Maybe you want to tend to restock that product more so that anytime they come, they'll always have it available. Because it will be very sad if customers buy a particular product and they come to the store and realize that that product is always not available. All right. So you need to now know which one they buy most. And then you can know how to restock and how to buy. You don't end up buying the product and not be able to sell it. So you tend to want to buy the product. You know, people are going to buy more so that you can also make more money. All right. And you can't do that unless you know those products. And how do you know those products? Is by observing, taking record of what people buy most, then you know how to restock your store. All right. So with that being said, let's look at who a data analyst is. At least so far, we've seen the processes of the data collection and how the life cycle goes. But that haven't really told us who a data analyst really is. So part of your work as a data analyst is to collect data, clean the data, analyze the data, and interpret those data to make data or meaningful decisions. All right. So your job as an analyst is to be able to collect data, which is part of what I explained earlier. Then be able to clean the data. Remember that when you are collecting information from people, the information is not going to come the same. So they are going to have differences. So you should be able to clean the data whenever you have error. And also, you might not even be the one who collected the data primarily. Somebody else might have collected the data and they've asked you to just analyze it. So you still have to clean it to make sure the data now makes sense enough for you to analyze. All right. You might have some value that is missing. You can have some missing information, or the data might not be properly organized. You might have to make the data to be more organized, to make sense of the whole situation, so that when you're analyzing it, you'll not have errors and all that. Then so that you'll be able to interpret it and have a meaningful decision. All right. So primarily, a data analyst turns raw data into useful information by finding patterns, trends, and insights. All right. So what that is just trying to say is, as a data analyst, you should be able to get meaningful information from the data, make sense of that data, get those insights so you can give the suggestions so that the company can make decisions out of those suggestions. Remember, you are working for an organization. So those information collected for the organization is for you now to tell them, this is what I've seen, and from my own end, I think this is going to help the company to move to the next phase. All right. So that decision-making process is part of why the data is very useful. Without that data, you can't make this useful information. So you have to bear that in mind at all time. All right? Good. So roles and responsibilities of the data analysts, just like we've mentioned, the data collection processes, the data cleaning processes, data management, the data analysis, which is the process of analyzing the information you've collected, all right? Then the data visualization and reporting, you have insights, communication, collaboration, and the data governance. Remember, every organization have their own rules that govern their data. All right, you have your career opportunities. You have a lot of opportunities as a data analyst. All right, you can work as a trainer, as an instructor, just like I'm doing right now. I'm a teacher. All right, you can work as a reporting analyst. You can work as a financial analyst. You can work as a database manager. All right. Like I mentioned, when you collect this data information, you're supposed to store them somewhere and etc. You can work as an operational analyst. All right. You can work as a data scientist. You can work as a marketing analyst. You can work as a health data analyst, data consultant, and performance analyst, and many more. All right. You can work in any industry at all. The data analyst is not limited. Okay. So regardless of where you are in shop, just I mentioned uh, the uh, the lawyers law firm. In fact, um, recently I had a conversation with a friend of mine that is a judge, all right, and they had an issue. And when I told the person, okay, fine, let me go through the data, I was just able to pick out two insights from that, all right. And this is something that they will not know on their own because the way they have been trained, the information then they tend to see is different, all right. So, but as an analyst, when I just looked at the information, I just smiled, I understood I saw the pattern, I understood the system, I knew how that was where they were having issue, and I was able to help them to see more insight about what it's not like they don't know, but they were looking at it differently. So you can actually fit into any field. It's just for you to understand how to apply your knowledge and know what you are looking for. All right. So being able to gain insights from that data and then make meaningful decisions. Anybody can see data, but being able to make that meaningful decision is what helps you as a data analyst, is what makes you stand out as a data analyst. Even in your business, everybody comes to the store every day, but you should be able to make a meaningful decision out of that information, knowing fully well, seeing the pattern, seeing the trend, all right? See how this day-to-day activity can change or shape, your life cycle or your business cycle. All right. So let's move on. So part of the essential tools that we use as a data analyst, all right, we use Excel, okay, and Excel is one of the major tools used, okay. We have different tools, but we use Excel, and Excel can be used to handle and manipulate data, all right. So we do data cleaning, data exploration, analysis, we do data visualization even in Excel, reporting, data modeling, and machine learning management and database. All right. So we have Power BI, and Power BI as well can be used for data visualization, data modeling, data cleaning, and dashboard creation, collaboration, real-time analysis. I also have the Power BI mobile. All right. So all these packages are part of the packages we use for data analysis. We also use SQL, all right, structural query language, all right, and we also use that for data extraction, manipulation, analysis, data reporting, warehouse, data integration, application, data security, all right. So SQL is just like a container that we use to store our data and also do some analysis with it. All right. You also use Python for data extraction, manipulation, and etc. Automation of scripts, software development, and data visualization. All right, so we have a whole lot of Python package that is what we used for data management. You understand? So we have a whole lot of them, all right? But for today's training, we'll be using Excel and Power BI, all right? So let's do a bit of activity here. I'm sure most of us, we have day-to-day activities that we do. So let's look at, we can just pick any of the activity. You can just decide to pick and how much money you spend each day or how long you spend on your phone each day, all right? And you can now take record and see how to call what we call a method of data collection, okay? So if you open your Excel worksheet, you can decide to check, just make on the header and say how much money you spend each day, or you can decide to check on how much money or how long you spend on your phone each day, all right? And you can just take that record and help you to see how to keep track of your day-to-day activity. That gives you an idea of a method of data collection for a data analyst. All right. So you can also look at some testimonies from some of our previous students, as you can see. Well, you don't have to say much. You can see for yourself. You can just scan the QR code and go to our page and read more about it. So we are not like those some organizations that might tell you to come for A and begin to offer B. But when you start, they will tell you, oh no, we can't do this or we can't do that, and begin to give you excuses. All right. We'll follow through and we deliver. All right. So you can be rest assured that with us, you are not going to have any problem. All right. And like we said, we will also do follow-up assistance. So even if you enter training with us, that doesn't mean that your journey is ended there. Just after the training, then nothing else. No, we do what we call follow through. So even after your training and you still need assistance and you still want help in terms of mock interviews and other areas, even if you decide to go into software development or you want to go into IT generally, you want to learn more about web design and etc. or database management, you can still come back to us. We are always here to assist you.
Good morning, everyone. Once again, my name is Sopiruch Kubu, and we are going to go through this practical session together. We have opened the link. Then go to File. Go to File. Can you see my screen? Go to File on the menu bar. Yes. Then you go to Create a Copy, and then you see Download a Copy. Can you see that?
Yeah, can see that. We got in it.
Yes. So you click on Download a Copy, and you have it downloaded in your system.
Yeah, I've done that.
Okay. Please open it once you downloaded it so that we can move along together.
Okay, I've opened it now. We can move now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right. Okay, so if you look at the Excel file that we have, this is supposed to be a sales file. How do we know? We'll get to know, but then first, let's look at our data. So we have this data like this. We can't see, there are some things we can see. Okay, we can see the year, we can see the state, we can see the quarter, but then these things are not so clear. We can see estimated profits, and these other things in the columns are not so clear. So we are going to make them clear. But then before we proceed, we have an instruction that we're going to work with. And then with this instruction, it will guide us on the task that we are to do in this particular section, okay? So the first instruction says, format the data by changing the appearance of the data set. Obviously, the appearance is not looking nice and we have to format it. So what do? You highlight the first row, the first column, and then you take it down to the last column. And then you double click. Can you see my screen? Then you double click here, and then you have all the columns enlarged. You have all the columns extended to accommodate each content in the columns. Are we together?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Instruction says format the data set by changing the appearance of the data set. So we have to make our data sets look clean and then look organized for us so that we can easily detect what we need to work on, what is the problem with the data, and also easy access to the information that are contained in each of the columns. So to do that, we are going to first highlight the first row. But then if you look at this first row, you find out that the row from column A to column B seem to be thicker than column L. So why is that so? So I think the row is bordered. So the borderline is highlighted, and we have to remove that to ensure that we have uniformity. It may not really be a problem affecting the data, but then as a data analyst, you have to ensure uniformity in whatever you're doing. So we are going to remove the border, and then we select that and click on no border. Okay, so we now have everything. We now have everything together, and then we are going to beautify our data sets by differentiating the header from the rest of the columns, okay, from the rest of the rows. So what we are going to do, you highlight the first row. Have you highlighted yours? Highlight the first row. So I wouldn't want you to, if you click on here, you're going to highlight the entire rows, both the ones that has content and the ones that don't have content. So I need you to just highlight only the rows that have content. So what you're going to do, you select the first row and then you drag it, or you drag it down to the last column. You drag it down to the last column. And then we are going to color this column so that it can be different from the rest of the columns, from the rest of the rows. We are going to color this row. That's a row. So that it will be different from the rest of the rows and then be identified as the header. So what we are going to do is we are going to choose a color. Do you see where I selected my color?
Yes.
Okay. So yes. So you select a color. You're selecting blue. So we select blue. And then to make our fonts bolder, we may decide to increase it, but then I will prefer to leave it that way. But then I want to change the font style. So I will use Times New Roman for the font style. And then we have it separate. We have it different from the rest of the other rows. Okay. So we are also going to do another thing. Are you there?
Yes.
So we're going to add filter to this column. And the essence of the filter is to help us to navigate through each column without having to scroll down. So filter is more like a drop-down button that will help us to see what is contained in each column, the unique figures, the unique contents that are contained in each column without having to scroll down each of the rows. So to do that, we'll come to this menu bar under the Home tab, right? And then we come here. Can you see this? The sort of filter.
Yes.
And then we select filter. We select filter. And then we've added filter to our column, our row, sorry. So I'm going to write this again so that I can see clearly what is in the rows, what is in the header. Do you have this in your own data sets? Are we all together? So I'm going to take the formatting of the first row again. We are going to distinct our header from the rest of the rows. So I'm going to do that again. So I'm going to do that again one more time and the last time so that we'll move to the next instruction. Okay. So we all learned how we color the first row, right?
Yes.
Are we all here? Okay.
Yes.
Please,
Yes.
let's all respond so I will be sure that everyone is carried along. Okay, so since we are all here, we are going to add a filter. So we are here, we formatted the first row, and then we've changed our font to Times New Roman so that it will be bright, it will be bolder and then different from the rest of the rows, from the rest of the data set. So now that we have this, we are going to add what is called a filter. And what filter does is to help us navigate the data set in each of the columns. It will help us to see the information that are contained in each of the columns without having to scroll down, okay? So to do that, we'll come to the filter button, and that is found under the home bar, the home bar under the menu, the home bar under the menu bar, okay? So the home ribbon here under the menu bar, okay? So you come here and then you select the sort and filter. Can you see the filter?
Yes.
Once you click on this drop down, you see the filter, and then you click on the filter button. So once you click on the filter button, you have these drop down arrows in each of the column. And what this does is that it will help you to navigate each of the columns like this. We could see that we have only 5 items here, but then if you look at this, we have more than 20 rows. In fact, if you look at this, we have 151 rows, but then we only have 5 distinct items. Okay, so that is what filter helps us to do. So I am going to enlarge this so that I can also expand the columns, so I can also see the information clearer as I have increased the font, so it's a little bit bigger. So enlarging it will help me to see it clearer and know what I am working with. Are we together now? Are we together? Can we move to the next instruction?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Okay, so the first instruction we are done, format the data by changing the appearance of the data set. This is obviously different from what we had before. And then I think it looks better. You can confirm to that, right? So it looks a lot better, and we can easily see what is the information that each column contains. And now we can obviously see that is a sales data set, because we have the sales channel, which is like, okay, what channel is the product being sold? We have product category, we have unit sold, we have unit price. Okay, so this is a sales data, and we can see that and we can confirm that clearly without any challenges. So we move to the next instruction, and the instruction says identify and remove any inconsistencies before further analysis. So this is another process. If you remember the stages of data analysis that you were taught, this is the data cleaning stage, okay? So we are going to look at our data set and look at inconsistencies that are found in the data set, and then make them consistent, make them uniform before we go on with the further analysis. Is that okay? So now if you look at these data sets, the first column here is the states, and this is supposed to be the states that has these cells, the states that are included in these sales data sets, right? But then if you look at this, we have Oyo, we have Edo, right? But then we're seeing that Edo starts with small letter. And then we also have Anambra. We have Anambra also in small letter. We may have a lot of faiths in small letters. So instead of coming to change the alphabets to capital letters, we have a function in Excel that we can use to change everything to proper keys, so that we have uniformity in the names of the states. Okay. Now, if you also look at these data sets too, you're going to see that under the quarter column, we have Q1, we also have Q1/1, Q1-1, right? The error with this is that now it's showing us that we have double Q1, and then for the Q3, Q2, it's also showing us that we have double, even when we only have Q1 to Q4. But then because these things are seen as distinct characters, they're not recognized as Q1 or Q2, they're recognized as distinct Q1 or Q2, and that is not what the data needs to inform us. We need to have our data cleaned that we only have Q1 to Q4. So we are going to do that, and we are going to ensure uniformity in our data sets. Okay, so how do we do that? So we start with changing the capitalizing the data, the names of the states. So how do we do that? First of all, we are going to add another column, a new column that will help us to carry out the function. And how do we do that? So you come to the year column, you highlight it, and then you right click, and then you click on insert. Insert will add a new column before the year, but then after the state. Okay, in order to add a new column, you click on the column on the left, no, column on the right, so that you add a column on the right, so that you can add a new column on the right, okay? So once we've clicked that, we have a new column. Are we together?
Yes.
Okay, so we have a new column, and we are
Yes.
going to, in this new column, we are going to carry out a function that will give us what we want it to be in this state column. So what is that function? There's a function in Excel called the proper function. Proper helps to, proper function is used to put the text in Excel columns into the proper characters, okay? So instead of capitalizing the whole letters, what it does is it capitalizes the first letters. Okay, so that's what we need, and that's what we are going to do, because that's what we need for states. So to include the proper function, we are going to write equals to, and for every Excel function, you use the equals sign to tell Excel that, oh, we are ready to start calculation, and then Excel will get alerted, and then the intelligence will now be activated to help you carry out your function. So we are going to use you enter the equals sign, and then you type proper. So proper is a function in Excel. It's automated already. Immediately you type PRO, you will see it, and then you select the function. So once you select it, the next thing that comes is text. The text is, what do you want to change to proper? What do you want to change to proper? So what we want to change to proper is this column, the information in this column. And then we select that and we close the bracket and we click on enter. Okay, so we cannot come and be doing these things one by one. We are going to flash through. Just once your cursor, you place your cursor in the first cell, at the edge of the cell, right? And then it changes to black cross, and you double click. And every other thing in the other column changes to the format that you want it to be in the next column. Are we together?
Yes.
Are we
Yes.
done with this? Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So now we have this here, but then remember that we have a function here, and we don't need this function. So what we just need is the names. So we are going to remove these functions and have only the names in the correct order and place them in the column where we need it. And for us to do that, let's just we will just write the name of the column that we wanted to replace. The name of the column that we want to replace, so that copying it will not be difficult for us. We just copy it and then we paste it in the column that we want. Okay, so if we leave it like this, if you look at this, what we have here is proper. That's that function that we entered. But if you look at this, what you have here is Edo, just the name, and that is just what we want. And that is just what we want to have. So to do that, we are going to copy this. We are going to copy the column.
So, not a thought.
So we are going to copy the column. You right click, you highlight the column, and then you right click. You will see copy. Can you see that?
Excuse me a bit. Before
Okay.
we go forward, please, can you check the Abuja FCT? I think in the new proper
yes.
we have a small letter.
Okay,
so can
okay,
you tell
yes.
us small letter?
Excuse me. Okay, so the Abuja FCT, remember this Abuja, we are using proper function, right? And then proper function capitalizes the first letters. Okay,
Oh.
so now we have FCT here, and we FCT is supposed to be in capital letters. So what we are going to do, because it's just one, because we already have our filter and it's easy for us to detect the challenges that we have. okay? Because it's just one, we could easily come and, sorry. So I'm going to do that after we have copied, because if you can see now, we can't change anything because it's still a function, okay? But then because it's one, we are going to manually change it. If it's more than one, we could use another function, which could be like a replace function, okay? You could find and replace, and then you change the FCT in small letter to FCT in capital letter. But it's just one, and it's easy for us to type. And then we just type it. Let me see if we have only one FCT. Okay, we have plenty. So we are going to use the find and replace function. But then before we do that, we are going to copy this. And then replace this so that we have only the text, and then replacing will be easy for us. Okay, so we copy here, and then we come to this state. That is where we want our column to be. Then we still right click. We come to paste options, and then we paste values. Paste values. That's what we are going to select. We paste as values. And now if we paste as values, the function is removed, and we have only the text in the column, okay? So now that we have that, we don't need this again, and we are going to delete it. So we are going to delete that column. Okay, now coming to the FCT, we actually a very observant students, and then I give you a credit for that. Okay, so for the FCT, FCT should be in a capital letter, but here we are having FCT as F in capital letter, C and T in small letter, and that's because of the proper function that we use. If you had used other functions, it may not be the same, okay? So to change this, we are going to use the find and replace function, and what we are going to do is you highlight the column, okay? And then you press Ctrl H, okay? You highlight the column and press Ctrl H. Then find words. What are we looking for? We are looking for FCT, F, C, and small t. F, capital letter, C, small letter, and T, small letter. And we're going to replace it with FCT, capital letter, because that's what we want to have. Are we together?
Yes.
Yes. So we are going to do replace all. And then all finished, we have 9 replacements, correct? So we now say close. Can you see that we have what we need?
Yes.
Yes. So Excel makes data cleaning easy if you know what you want to clean. Okay. So we are done with cleaning our first state, and the instruction says, let's go again, identify and remove any inconsistencies before further analysis. So we are done with inconsistencies in column 1, and then another inconsistency that we identified is in column C, right, the quarter. So what we are going to do now is that we are going to also remove this minus, this dash, the dash signs that separate the Q from the numbers, right? Making them distinct values other than they should be. Okay, so we are going to do the same thing, add another column. Okay, we are going to add another column, insert, so that we can quickly edit what is here. We can quickly carry out the function that is here. So that's why we have to add the column close to it. If you even add a column anywhere, it can still do. But then for easy access, it's advised to add your column close to the column that you want to clean. So the function that we are going to use to do this is the substitute function. Substitute function. So what substitute does is that, just as the name implies, what it does is that it replaces what you have. It substitutes what you have to what you want to have. Okay, so once we click, we enter equals to, and then we click on substitute. We automatically, so we select it, or you press the tab sign, the tab key. You press the tab key, and then you're seeing these things. You're seeing the drop-down information that it has here. The first one says text. So our text is the C column, which is C2, right? So we want to change the information in this column, and we are telling the computer Excel C, we want to change the information in this column, okay? So we say C2 as our text, and if you're seeing it, you're seeing that there's a comma, so you enter your comma, and then the next thing is old text, more like what is that text that you want to change? What is that text that you want to change? So we want to change the dash sign. So, and then for a dash, for any number, for anything that you're entering in Excel that is not a number, you have to identify it with a quotation sign. So quotation tells Excel this is not a number, but this should be done. Okay. So yeah, quotation makes it to recognize what you're saying. So we have to type double quotation, and then we enter the dash sign, okay, and then we close the quotation. That is our old text, and then we place the comma, and then what is the new text? What is the new text I want to replace it with? Now, apparently what we have is dash, and then we want to replace it with nothing, so that the numbers can be close to the Q, and then they can be identified as Q1, Q2, and then also in uniform with the other other things that are written, the other quarters that are already written in the data set. So to do that, we are going to identify the empty space as just empty space, but we still have to recognize it in quotes. Okay, you're not going to enter anything, just put the quotes, no space, nothing. Just put a quote, put a quote there, and then you have it as an empty space. It's more like nothing. Do nothing, just remove that and leave the space like that. Okay, so once we do that, we close the bracket, and then we click on enter. So once we click on enter, we come and do the same thing. We double click, and then we have all the dash signs removed. Are we together?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So we will do the same thing that we did in the other one to replace the same column. We are going to rename the column to quarter, and then we are going to replace the column. We copy the column, and then we replace this as just values, so that we have only the text written. Okay, then we now come and delete this column because we do not need it again. Okay, so can you all see this now? So we have all our
Please,
data.
can we go over?
Over. Okay. You mean with the quarter, with the substitute function? Is that?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay. So I'll take that one last time. Please pay attention so that we can move forward. Okay. I'm trying to be as slow as I can so that we all can be carried along. Okay, so I am going to Control Z this so that we understand what we're doing. So we're going to start afresh. So you understood the point that we added a new column, right?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you. So we are going to use the substitute function, and the substitute function is to replace the dash sign and ensure uniformity with the quarter signs that we have. So from here we have Q1 to Q4, but then some of the Q1, Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4 are separated with a dash, making them to be recognized as distinct values when we are just supposed to have only Q1 to Q4. So that is a problem, and we need to ensure that the data, the text in that column is uniform. And to do that, we are going to replace the dash that is separating the numbers and the Q with nothing. And we are going to use the substitute function to do that. Okay, so we in the new column that we entered the equals to sign, and then we select the substitute function. Okay, the substitute function. The text, we select the column that we want to replace, the column that we want to work on. Okay, the first row that is the C2, the first row in the column that we want to work on. We select it as the text, right? And then we use quotation marks to inform Excel that the old text we want to remove is the dash sign, and that is because the dash sign is not a number. Had it been want to remove a number, there's no need for the quotation mark. But then because the dash sign is not a number, we add the quotation mark, okay? Then the old text is the dash sign, and then the Excel is saying the new text. What is our new text? Our new text is nothing. Replace the dash sign with nothing. So we just enter the quotation sign without anything, no space, nothing, okay? Then we close the brackets and click on enter. And then we come here and we double click, we flash fill, and we have our data. We have our column cleaned, but then we don't need the function to show. We don't need the function that we enter to show. So we are going to copy it and paste as plain text. And to do that, we are going to do this, create our column. So I'll copy the entire column, and then we copy it, and we'll come to the column where we want to replace. We right click and we replace as values. And we have it replaced. Is that correct? Are you following now? Do you
Yes.
understand that now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So we have this, and then we are going to delete this because we do not need it again. So we have our data set cleaned, and you can tell that this looks a lot better than what we were presented with. And at least by the time you have this, you can understand what is and what is not necessary in your data set, and then what you need to do further to achieve the aim of the data set or the goal of the organization for giving you that data set. So our next instruction says, calculate the total revenue, calculate the estimated profit, calculate the revenue after discount. Calculate the total revenue, calculate the estimated profits, calculate the revenue after discount. So we already have empty spaces for this, and we are asked to do what? To fill it up. So in our data set, we have the discount, and this discount, we have the sign as percentage, but then these numbers are represented in decimal. So we are going to convert it to percentage. And then this one, the profit margin, we also have the sign as percentage, but then we have the numbers in whole number. So we are also going to convert it to percentage so that the percentage signs can show. As you see, as it's 28 like this, Excel sees it as 28. Without the percentage sign, it sees it as just 28. But then with percentage sign, it sees it as 28%. Okay. So we are going to calculate the total revenue. Before we move into that, let's calculate the total revenue, which is the first question that we have. And then total revenue is what? The total revenue is, when we check what we have units sold, we have unit prices. And then total revenue is unit price multiplied by the unit sold. Unit price multiplied by unit sold. So what we do, we enter our equals to sign, and then we select the column that has the unit sign, okay? And then we use the multiplication sign, which is the asterisk. So you press Shift 8 and you have the asterisk as the multiplication sign. And then you multiply by unit sold and you click enter. So you have the total revenue under this row as this. Okay. So what we are going to do now is to ensure that we have all the rows calculated as well. And we do the same thing with flash fill. And we have the total revenue for all the states in this column. Okay, is that clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so this is what we have. The next question says, the next instruction says, calculate the estimated profit. Estimated profit. So now what we have here is the profit margin. Profit margin, but then we are going to calculate the estimated profit with the profit margin. But then our profit margin is stated in whole number, and it should be in percentage. So we are going to convert this to percentage. There are many ways that we could do this now, right? So we can do this by, to convert any number to percentage, you could just click on this percentage sign. But then the problem here is this, that this is a whole number. And what Excel will do is that once you click on percentage sign, it multiplies the number by 100. Right? Because this is not the percentage format. It's not the percentage figure of this value. Right? So Excel recognizes that you are saying, okay, what is the 28? What is the percent? What is 28%? That is 28 multiplied by 100. But that is not what we are looking for. We are looking for the 28%. We want to convert this 28 to 28%. So what we are going to do is that we are going to divide this by 100 and then convert it to percentage. Just the normal arithmetic calculation. We are going to do that before we now convert it to percentage. And we are going to do this similar thing that we've done before. We are going to insert a column, okay? Insert a column, and then we divide what is here by 100. So what we are going to do, we enter the equals to sign, and then we select this and we click on the division sign. Okay, division sign, that is the slash sign. And then we say divide by 100 and we click on enter. So we have 0.28 and then we flash fill. So we have the percentage of this thing, of this, more like 28%. Now this is what it means, but then not in the percentage form. Okay, so since that we have this is not what we need. We want it to be in the percentage form. This is also similar. This means 28%, right? But then we want it to show 28% as in real time, so that anybody looking at it, we know that we are talking about 28%. So we are going to convert this now to 28%. So, but what we are going to do, we are going to remove that. We're going to remove the calculation that we had, and put it, and then move the figures to the column where we want to have it. Okay, please mute yourself. Please mute yourself so that we can have a quiet and uniform class. So we are going to copy this, and then we are going to replace this so that we just have these numbers. Okay, and then we delete this because we do not need it again. Okay, and if you notice, it changed because the figure in the other one changed, but that doesn't matter because we don't need it. Okay, so this is what we have. We have the profit margin in this form, but then we want to change it to percentage, so that the percentage signs will show, and then we can be sure that we have 28% as profit margin for each of it. So what do? We highlight the column, and then we come to this. Can you see this percentage style? Can you see this? Can you see the percentage sign? Can you see the percentage sign, everyone?
Yes.
Okay, so we select the percentage sign, and then we automatically convert everything that we have to the normal percentage that we want to have it. Okay, so now we move into calculating the estimated profit. And then to calculate estimated profit is calculated as the total revenue multiplied by the profit margin. Total revenue multiplied by profit margin. So we have the total.
Can you take the last column again?
Okay. Is it how we converted it to percent with the percentage sign?
No. I understand the percentage sign. But is the one you just removed now the profit?
Okay, the one I just copied and replaced the other one that we do not need.
No, it's when we got the total percentage I'm talking about.
Okay. Yeah. So what we did here was that. So what we did here, we needed to convert this to percentage. So Excel recognizes it as percentage and not a whole number. Okay. So we just divided the values here by 100 so that we can have the percentage value of each of the numbers here. Right? Is that clear?
Yeah.
Yes. So that's what we did. We just entered the number here. That's the cell here, divide by 100. And then we click enter. And we have this. And then we flash fill to have the same thing done for the whole rows. Okay. So once we've done that now, we now need to replace this with this column because this is what we need. This is the function that we need, not this one. This one is whole number. And we want this to be in percentage. So we are going to replace this. And we are going to have so we're going to replace this like we did for the other columns. We are going to replace this that we have here now with this. Sorry, we are going to replace this with this because this is what we need and we do not need this one. So we are going to replace it so that we have the real percentage in that column. So we just replace as values only. So you're seeing that this one changed. That may be the confusion, but then this changed because the values here changed. And remember that this function was with the values here, okay? So, but we don't need it again. So that's why it doesn't matter that it changed. So we are going to delete it, okay? So, and then we have to convert this to the percentage sign that we need so that we recognize it as the percentage of what it should be. So that when we see 28, we know that we are talking about 28% and not 28 whole number. And Excel also will recognize that. So we are going to click on the percentage sign, and then we have it. Okay, is it clear to this point? Can we move on?
Yes.
Thank
Okay.
you.
So the estimated profit, like I said, is calculated as the total revenue multiplied by the profit margin. So we are going to do the equal sign, and then we are going to say our total revenue multiplied by profit margin, which is the J2, right? And then we click enter, and we have this, okay? And then we flash fill to have the same figure for every of the column, okay? So we have this as our estimated profit. So we've answered our second question. We have the estimated profit for each of the states. So we are going to look at this third analysis that we are to do, which is calculate the revenue after discount. Calculate the revenue after discount. So now the discounts that we have here, we have these discounts in percentage, and we have our numbers in decimal, which is like, okay, which is like the percentage of what it should be, but then is seen as a decimal number and not a percentage, which was what we tried to convert the whole number in the profit margin to decimal. So this one now, we already have it in decimal. All we need to do is to convert it to what? To percentage. Okay, so we have the percentage values in decimal. So what we are looking for instance, what we are looking for now is 0.14. 0.14 ratio of the discount, right? But then we are going to look at it as a percentage because this sign says that the discount is in percentage. So what we are going to do is just to convert this to percentage, and then we click on the percentage sign, and we have this. Is that clear? Hello, everyone. Can we move on?
Yes.
Yes, please go on.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So we are now going to calculate our revenue after discounts. So revenue after discount, we are going to have it as the revenue, the total revenue minus the revenue multiplied by the discount. So we are going to have equals to what? Total revenue, this, right? Minus brackets. Total revenue again, multiplied by the discount. Sorry, not this, discount. Can you see that? Then we close our brackets. So these are formulas that you can actually search, and then you find out what it is, and then what is done. Okay, but this is what we have, and I cannot come to start teaching you mathematics. This is what it is a formula that you can easily search for, and then you get to understand how it is if you're not used to it. But then the total revenue after discount is calculated as total revenue minus the revenue multiplied by the discount. Okay, so we are going to have enter, and this is what we have as total revenue after discount for each state. Hello everyone, are we together?
Yes. Maybe a little bit.
Yes. That what? Okay, so we have our analysis done. Okay, the first one says calculate the total revenue. We've done that. Calculate the estimated profit. We've done that. Calculate the revenue after discount. We've also done that. Can we now be called data analysts? This is good. This is good. Okay. So this is the beauty of Excel, and these are one of the functions, the magic that Excel does. It makes calculation very easy, makes it look like there's really nothing in it. Okay, so this is what we have, and we have a data set complete. Each column has its figures in the right order, and we are good to go. So we look into the next instruction that we are to do. The instruction here says using Power BI. So now you were taught in the analysis process, you were taught data analysis, then you have data reporting, visualization. Okay, so the next instruction is taking us to that level. And it's saying using Power BI and any chart of choice, show and calculate total revenue for each state. So we are going to visualize that so that we see the total revenue for each state. And then it's also saying, using Power BI and any charts of choice, show and calculate the estimated profit for each state. So we are going to show the estimated profit, the total revenue for each state, and the estimated profit for each state. Okay, so but this function now, we are done with Excel, and we are going to do that with Power BI. So first, we are going to save our data set so that we can upload it to Power BI. Okay, so we can save as if you do Control X, it will replace the original file. But I would advise that you save it as, okay. So you save it as wherever you may want to see it, right? And then ensure that you save it as Excel workbook, which is the automatic format that will be there. Okay, so have we saved our file? Have we saved it? Okay. So the next thing is on Power BI. Power BI. Do you have Power BI in your laptop?
Yes, but
You have Power BI in your laptop. If you have Power BI in your laptop, you open it. If you do not have, you use this QR code to download Power BI or to access where you can download Power BI. It is Power BI Desktop is a free application that you can get from the Microsoft Store. So it's no big deal. It's easy to download and install. And that is what we are going to use. So if you have that, then you open your Power BI. Open your Power BI. So you open a blank report. You open a blank report, and then we are going to import our data set. The data set that we just worked on, so that we can visualize the instruction that we were given. So to load our data set into the Power BI, we are going to follow this process. Please pay attention. So if you open your Power BI, you're going to see this. Connect to data from multiple sources. Then you click on the drop-down arrow, and then you are seeing common data sources. Import data from a Microsoft Excel workbook. That's what we are going to use. So you select that, and then it takes you to your device, and you search for where you saved your data sets. You search for where you saved your data sets. I saved mine in download, so I'm going to open that. And then this is the exact file that I'm looking for. So I'm going to select that, and then I'll select open. Have we done that? Are we on the same page?
Yes, saying connecting. Mine is showing connecting.
Okay, please allow me to connect. So if you are on this page, you let me know.
Okay. Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Okay. Okay. So if you're on this page, so we are going to select the data because that's what we need. And this is our data, and we are going to click on load. And you see the load, so we're going to select the load. And then we have our data sets loading into the Power BI. So we are going to visualize the instruction that we are giving. And then let's go back to the instruction so that we'll be on the same page. The instruction says, using Power BI and any chart of choice, show and calculate the total revenue for each state. The second question also says, show and calculate the estimated profit for each state. So we are on Power BI, and we're going to use chart of our choice. So this is the charts that we have in Power BI, the charts that we have accessible in Power BI. Now here we have different charts, and for this visualization, we are going to use the clustered column chart. So for any chart that we select here, it will show on this Canva. This is where our visuals are going to show. Okay, so we type Power BI, we are going to use this clustered column charts to visualize our data. So we select the charts, right? And then what we want to show the states. The states, the total revenue, and the estimated profit. So our x-axis has the state, our y-axis has the total revenue, and then also it has this the estimated profit. And this is what our visual says. Can we all see this? So we decided to tell we decided to answer that instruction with one chart. You know why? Because if we have a revenue from each state, it's also good that we could tell, okay, this state has this revenue, but this is the profit generated by this state. This state has this revenue, but this is the profit generated by this state. So we could share the information hand in hand without moving from one chart to another. Okay, so we are going to tell that we are going to answer that instruction with one single chart. So this is what we have as our visualization, as our data. And we have this. So what other information can we tell from this? So with this information, with this data set, remember the instruction also says, and any other insights. Let me read it. Show any other insights from the data. So we are going to show as we're going to show maybe one or two other insights that we could get from this data so that our stakeholders can understand what we did. And then it can maybe help them make decisions as data analysts that we are. Okay, so we are going to check another thing. Let's check the sales channel, the revenues by the sales channel, so that we know which sales channel has the highest revenue. Okay, so to do this, we are going to use the donut charts. Let's use the donut charts. You have to select this before you select another chart so that it doesn't automatically change it. So the donut chart, we will select, we are going to select the sales channel and the total revenue. And this is what we have. And this is what we have, okay? So, but then we have this information. Are we together, please?
Yes.
Please mute yourself. Please mute yourself so that you don't distract others. Okay, so this is the visual that we have for the total revenue by sales channel. And we also have this as the sum of the total revenue and the estimated profits by states. So, but then we do not know what is the total revenue. Our stakeholders may not be able to tell it, but we can be able to show them exactly what the total revenue is, the units that are sold, the total number of units that are sold, the total discounts that we have, and every other information that we think are necessary for their view. So to do that, you're going to use the card visual. The card visual shows, so it sums up the total value of everything that the total value of the columns, and then give you like the total summation of everything. So we are going to use this to visualize the total revenue. And this is what we have. So the card visual is showing us that we have 207 billion total revenue. And another one that we need to visualize, we are going to visualize the units sold. So we have 2 million units sold. Okay. What other thing can we visualize? Let's visualize the estimated profits. Estimated profits, the total estimated profits across the whole states, for the whole states. So we have this as this. We have it as 44.36 billion. That is the estimated revenue, estimated profits. Okay. What other thing can we visualize? Maybe we want to tell them the total discounts that we have. So generally, what is the discount that we give from all the revenue or from all the products? So we have our discount, we have 17.43%.
Total discount.
Okay.
Total discount or percentage discount.
Are we together?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. So this is what we have. We have two visuals here telling three different stories. What other thing can we add here? So let's show the sales by product category. Let's show the revenue or the profit by product category. Let's show that so that we can also be able to tell that part. Okay. Product category. Total revenue. And this is what we have. So this is the information that we have. So there's another thing that we could add. We could quickly add to this. To beautify our dashboard, we have to name it first so that anybody that sees it, we know what information we are trying to pass, number one. And then also we have to add some slicers so that any information that one wants to find out can be easily detected with the visuals that we already have. Instead of going to create multiple visuals for all the information that we need, we could just use a slicer to get the information that we need. So we are going to use, we are going to add a slicer to make it easy and clean. So we will add a slicer. Let's use this. And then we add the state. Sorry. And then we add the state. So let's use the list slicer. Okay, so let's now label our dashboard. We are just creating visuals. We've not formatted the visuals, but with this, you can tell where we are going to. You can already see the key information that you need. And even someone who is not a data analyst, who did not know what you did with the Excel sheets, can easily tell the information that you have here. And that is what you need. That is your job as a data analyst, making the information easy for persons who are not good with number. Okay, so we are going to add a title.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, I don't know if you can explain this slicer all over again, please. That slicer section, please. Thank you.
Okay. Just hold on, I'm coming, so that we'll be done with this, and then I'll go back to that. So what do we name our dashboard? So this is a sales dashboard. Sales dashboard. Let's just call it sales revenue dashboard. Revenue dash. I mean, you can give it any name you want, as long as it tells what you want to inform. So we increase the font size to this. We can change the, let's just leave it here. Let's leave this font style. And then we bold it. And then we have this. So we have the slicers. The slicers are just Power BI features that help us to see the information that we have. So it helps us to go through it helps us to go through to detect the information that each information in the slicers has. For instance, now this slicer, we have the states as in our slicer. So the slicer, we could also create a slicer and have the year, if the year is in text. We could also create a slicer and have the quarter, right? But now this state slicer that we have, we could tell, okay, we want to see the information that Abuja has, the sales information that Abuja has based on this our data set. By selecting Abuja now, we are having this information. So we are having this as the total revenue from Abuja, and this is the estimated profit from Abuja. Every other thing is silenced, and the slicer highlights or spotlights the information that we just need. So it makes navigation of the dashboard very easy. Okay, so we could see that every other information, Abuja now has 13 billion, estimated profit 3.0. You see, the figures are changing because we only selected Abuja in our slicer. Had it been we do not have this now, if we want to see the information that we have for Abuja now, we could come here and check, okay, Abuja, this is it. We now navigate, okay, Abuja has this. But then with the slicer, we could easily see what is contained in Abuja across all the visuals that we have in the dashboard. Is that clear?
Yes, yes.
Do you understand that now? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So these are the visuals that we have, and then we are going to format our dashboard so that they can look presentable and organized. and be able to attract our stakeholders to look at it and understand what we want to inform them. So to this, we are going to edit, format this, click on this as is. So what we are going to do, we are going to we have total revenue by product category. Okay, so by the title, we are going to rename the title. Instead of sum of, we say total revenue by product category. And then we bold it. We change it to pure black. And then we center align it so that they can be okay. They can easily tell what we want to do. Then we go back to the axis. Let's start with the x-axis. Let's change this to black. And then we could also bold it to make it more clear. And then this product category, we leave it at that. We bold it and we change this to black too. So then we come to the y-axis. We do the same thing depending on what we have, what we need. So the values for x-axis, I don't think we need it because we are going to label that axis. But first, let's finish this. Let's finish this first. So the title, I don't think we need it because by seeing it, the title already says total revenue by product category. So we don't need the title again. So we are going to off the title. Okay. And then we come here, the data labels. I think we should label this so that the figures can, so that one can easily tell the figures by looking at it. And then we select this, the values we label, we bolden it, and then we change this to black. Okay. So I will quickly go off the values for this because the numbers and the values already does the box, so I don't need that again. And then I have this. I will do the same for this. I'll do the same for this. I will change this to black. This is the y-axis. Then I will bolden it. I'll off the title because I don't need it. Or maybe even off the distance. So the legend, I think I need the legend. Then I will top center the legend. Yeah, I'll bolden it and change it to black. So formatting is basically your choice. So this is where your design and coloring mindset comes in. So it's basically your choice. So for the columns, I will want to change the colors of the columns. Then I will come here so I can make it brighter. So we can make it brighter. I will choose a brighter color. Then I'll come here and choose maybe blue. Let's choose blue, the dark blue for the revenue. And then we choose the maybe another brighter color for the estimated profit. So we are going to choose this. Let's choose yellow and see what it looks like. I think I like this. So we leave it at this. And then the legend, I think I would want to rename the legend, but I'll do that. Okay, so the title, I don't think I need the title again since the legend is there, but the legend is small, so I want to increase it. And then the x-axis, let me work on that so that we have uniformity. the x-axis. So this is actually very the self-explanatory. About navigating it, you could get to understand it, and further training will also like show you how to approach all these and have a very good visual that informs what you want to have. Okay, so we have this. Let's see. No, not this. Not this. I want to increase the title of the legend. Legend. So I want to increase it so that it can be bold. Then we have this. So I want to change this to just total revenue. And estimated profits. So that by me looking at it, you can tell what the visual is for. And so for this one, maybe I'll just change the column color so that the estimated profit can go the same color everywhere it's being found. So I'll go by this. And I'll go by this. This is quite bright, but this is bright. I think I like it like this. So then we come to the pie charts. We want to format the pie charts. So the legend is okay like that. The text, increase the text, and then we bold it, and we choose a black color. Okay. Then the title, I don't think I need the title because the legend already
Okay,
tells what.
coming for you now.
So the details, we come here, and in these details, we are going to, let's reduce these values to 0, the decimal places to 0, and this to 0 too. Okay. Then we change this to black color, and we bolden this. Okay. So this title, I don't need it. So, but I would like to increase the font of the legend. I think this is okay for me. Okay, so this, I'll come here. I'll just check the title. I will only bold the title, and that's it. And select black. Okay, and that's it. So this is what we have. So for these call outs, the cards. So let's also make our cards stand out so that the visuals are very clear. I'll increase the values. Let's see what 15 looks like. Okay. Then we have this decimal places 0. Category level. Then we have this. I'll change to black. I'll bolden it. Yeah, then I'll come here and change this to just total revenue. And then I have this total revenue. Okay. The callouts level, I also want to increase the callouts level. Okay. So I will do this for this. I want to change this value to 0 decimal places. 0. So that I have it together. And then I want to have this as just estimated profits. Estimated profits, that's fine. Okay. Then I will also copy and format and change this to unit sold. Are we following, please?
Yes.
Yes, ma.
Yes,
Okay.
please.
Okay. Then I'll copy this and then I'll still format this. And then I'll come here and have this as total discounts. Okay. So this is what we have. And then for this, so I want to add background to our Canva so that it will help us to see what we did and then the beauty of what we did, okay? So that we can know how to best align our visuals to look better. So I will highlight everything, and then here I will choose Canva background. I'll just choose only a color. I would want to choose a blue. Then the transparency, you reduce it so that the color can show a bit. Okay. So this is what we have. And with this, we can see that some of our visuals are not well aligned. So we are going to do some adjustments to ensure that we have it well aligned. Okay. Organization is key to visualization so that anybody that sees it can easily tell. For this, I think I want to use this block style, and then I'll come here and I'll come here and change this to logos. I'm going to use this. Function 3 is fine. Okay, so we have this. We have this. Let's ensure that we have these things aligned.
Hello, ma.
Yes.
Some of the states, as in, they are not full, as in they are not showing in full. Like Abuja is still remaining here, then Anambra.
Yes, so that's because of the space. So I think I will just change it to list.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, so that's because of the space. So if you have more space, you can expand it as much as you want. Okay. So with this, okay, let's change it to state so that our states can show very well. So if you want to scroll down, we'll quickly scroll down, we'll have this. So let's make our title distinct. Let's make it distinct. So we come, check effects, and then background, we change the color. How can we change it to? Let's try what this looks like. Let's check another shade of hue. Okay. Then we add a visual border. And then we come here, we add shadow. Then let's just distance this and then we round it. Okay, the shadow. Let's just choose a color. And then maybe let's choose ash. And then this is our dashboard. So we want to see the information. We are presenting our dashboard to the stakeholders. We want to show them the information, the sales revenue, the estimated profits, the products, total products by total revenue by product category, and then the sales revenue by sales channel. So let's see, we want to check for Benue State. We want to tell them, okay, well, this is the information we have for Benue State. So this is it. So we could quickly see that why we have, for instance, now, you could see that why we have electronics as the highest product category, overall highest product category. But then when you go to Benue State, we have clothing as the overall highest. We have direct sales as the overall sales channel, the best sales channel. And so we can easily tell the distinct information for each state using this. And this is our dashboard. Anybody, whether you understand the mathematics that we did or you do not understand the mathematics that we did, you could understand this information and make decision, whatever decision you want to make based on the information. The organization could make any decision that they want to make based on the information that we have shown them. Okay. So if you look at it now, the total discount in Benue State is 2%. Which is something to consider. Let's see. Total discount for Abuja is 1%. And the total revenue is 30%. It's 13 billion. So if we check for Benue again, let's compare Abuja and Benue. So we are having Benue as 23 billion, Abuja 13 billion. I say it. So these are the insights that will help organizations to make decisions on how to improve their businesses. Okay. So this is it.
So if you want to enroll as quickly as possible and you want to drop your email or your mobile number, you can do so safely. Using our email address, or you can drop it in the chat if you're confident with your email address. We can get back in touch with you. Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you too.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.